Roll Tide is a common phrase in the South, but for those of you above the Mason-Dixon line, you're probably wondering quite a few things. What is this tide, where is it rolling, and what does that have to do with the fact that your mascot is an elephant? It doesn't. Okay, so in 1907, Alabama was participating in its favorite pastime, playing Auburn in football, and they were playing in the mud. The mud was red. Alabama ended up playing pretty well, and they tied Auburn. Somehow, in the piece about this game, the sports editor referred to the team as the Crimson Tide. Now, the mascot of the elephant didn't show up until the 1930s, when fans referring to the large, intimidating players would say, "Hold your horses, the elephants are coming." Because that makes sense. So, the red color and the tide are connected to each other, but have nothing to do with the elephant. The actual phrase roll tide is just another way of saying go tide, because the tide usually rolls in. Now, as fascinating as that history is, the more interesting part is just how much the phrase roll tide has taken over. It is the universal verbal filler. It can be congratulatory. You got an A, roll tide! It's perfect for awkward situations. Is she wearing a Playboy bunny outfit? Yep. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon? On a Tuesday? Yep. Roll Tide. It's even a verb. Oh, sorry. If y'all just want to roll tide on the couch, that's fine. I'm going to be over here. Or something like that. In fact, there's probably no situation in which roll tide can't be used. Weddings, funerals, court cases, brawls. If you're in the South and you've come to a point where you don't know what to say, and you're not on the Auburn University campus, go with the roll tide. So in summation, Roll Tide began as a chant for a football team and somehow became a phrase of camaraderie, a general statement acknowledging the brotherhood of those of us who love Alabama football. The pride in that team can supersede all other boundaries between us, and the phrase Roll Tide can establish a connection with people you've never met. And so, Roll Tide. And if you're curious as to what object I just shook into the camera, this is a standard issue University of Alabama shaker. It's like a pom-pom with the red and white streamers. And you bring them to football games and wave them around every time you need to gesticulate anything ever.